So what's going on is we have um, the advanced CTE is redoing the career clusters. And the last time they did the career clusters, um, supposedly they invited the family and consumer science and no one showed up. So we were kind of left out of the career clusters, just to give you an idea of crosswalks, of an idea. We just don't have anything specifically for career clusters like the other CTSOs or the other areas. So what I've done, and to be honest, they've got a survey out, and I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you the questions because they're kind of complicated. No, they're not kind of, they are complicated. So they have 5 different challenges, and y'all see my screen. Am I correct? Just to make sure I'm sharing it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so 5 different challenges, and they're wanting to rework the career clusters. And as you can see, each one of these has different questions. And so we want as many people as possible to go in, especially from FCS, and kind of get an idea. But after looking at the questions, and Jessica and I met with Kelly earlier this week, and I met with some other people across the nation trying to figure this out. And it's very complicated, but it is in my book. I'm talking from my experience. It may not be complicated for you. And if it isn't, great, then you're going to lead tonight, because I read some of these questions and I'm still having a hard time understanding what they have on this. But these are the questions they're going to be asking. So when you send in the survey, this is it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to put on here. But I do know that together we could probably come up with something for us to all send in. I think this is like advocacy, that once we get an idea built in, then we can all send it in, and it becomes, they hear it over and over again. So I thought we could collaborate together tonight to get this done, and then tomorrow's the deadline. And I created a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet that we can all work on together. Zoom share. Do you see now a Google Doc?
Yes.
Okay, with the questions on it. I will show you what AAFCS has done. And it looks like this. And we can use that as a guiding point. However, some of the people that have done this, it says it's better not to cut and paste and come up with your own. And I was like, yeah, but I know I have an idea of what I'm thinking, but we really want to make this available for, educators of all levels, the employers, parents, students, everyone else that could possibly do, be involved on this. And so I don't want it to come just from my viewpoint. I would love to have other viewpoints. And like I said, some of this stuff I'm having a really hard time understanding and tearing apart. And maybe you guys have a better ideas than I do. So that's why we're doing. Can everyone open up the document, the Word document? A Google Doc?
I was able to, Donna.
Okay. All right.
I think everybody's on it. I just have to
I see it.
over here so I have my other monitor so I don't, it's not as.
And sometime, Carly, before tonight, can you teach me how to do that copy thing again later on tonight?
And I just learned a new trick with that. Well, not really learned, but kind of by trial and error. I found out if you're uploading something from a Word document that's already existing to be a Google Doc, that you have to, there's an extra button you have to hit to make sure it works. You have to specifically click like make it a Google Doc. But yes, I can go over that with you.
Okay, awesome. You can do that if you can say just a few minutes afterwards. It won't take us that long, I don't think. And that way I can have it, because I've needed it a couple of times. I'm going, crumb, I don't know which one it was. I kept going back to our videos. I'm going, I don't know which one it was in. So anyway.
Totally okay.
Okay, so the first challenge, they have 5 different challenge areas. The first one is organize the education system to adapt and respond to the world of work. And so the question is, if you're building a national career clusters framework today, what 3 core elements would you include and why? And please review the boundaries and scope section for guiding parameters. And so if we go back to the scope section, come on. Toolbar does not want to. Okay, here we go. If you'll come down to the boundaries and scope section on the bottom here, and let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, sorry. It says that we're supposed to be relevant for the full continuum of CTE, including the middle grades, high school, post-secondary, adult workforce. Ensure navigation within and across learner levels and within and across industry sectors. Reflect and be adaptable to the entire world of work, which is massive. Speak to the variety of stakeholders, that's business and industry, educators, parents, students, others. Be national in scope, so not specific to one state, but national, and address the needs of the business and industry. Okay, gives you an idea. And then, as always, I kind of want to go, oh, okay, well, let me go back to what AAFCS says, and I look at this and I'm going, I don't, they said value, the 3 things they have is value all careers as essential and valuable, encumbered by historical or gender bias. Preparation for careers and future requires an interdisciplinary, I can't say that. So right now, approach valuing the students' preferences and previous knowledge and skills, and then career-ready practices, which be embedded into all students' personalized career plans, becoming the infrastructure for success in the workplace. Okay. So going back to our worksheet.
So Donna, do you mind reminding me, like, is this part of just the advanced CTE, like with Perkins? What is this? I guess, what is this for?
Yes, I will be glad to do that, because yeah, if you don't understand the whole process of what we're doing here, all those career clusters that we've done in the past, the 16 career clusters that was developed back in 2002, okay, everything's been based on that. That includes your Perkins, that includes all your funding. One of the problems we're having with FCS is we're not listed on it. We're listed in, we can be applied to several of them, but we're not listed in there. And part of that, no one knows for sure, but part of it was the answer they keep giving me is they were not, that we were invited, but we didn't show up. And so no one really represented us at the career clusters thing. What that career clusters does, though, is the reason we've been fighting for the last almost 20 years of trying to get funds and stuff is because we weren't in that career clusters. And so they're wanting to rework it. And to be honest, the career clusters needs to be reworked, because look at how many jobs are now available that was not available even 5 years ago. So they're having to restructure the whole thing. And yes, it's all going to be on funding. It's all going to be on what's being offered. And I didn't fully understand that either. I started thinking back to what assistant principal had told me. She says, you know, FCS is going out, that we're not using that anymore. And that was what he was basing it on, was because it was not in the career clusters. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. I guess I've always just been under the assumption that the fact that, like, because family consumer sciences is broad. We have, because I mean, I like, for example, Centennial, we have the education pathway career cluster. We also have the hospitality and tourism. And so but we still have like our FACS department. We hire FACS teachers. Yet there are those two special pathways. So I guess I've never really thought about the idea of how it's maybe not a good thing to not, I guess I don't know how to word it, but to be applied, like you said, to be applied to many of the clusters, but not be a specific cluster all in itself. Is that?
So I've pulled up the career clusters. Here's what's been argued. I don't know if it's truly bases on this, but this is what's been argued, is that since we do not have a specific one and we can spread all over, really and truly anyone can teach our classes and they don't need to be certified, and there's no need to have a separate department for FCS. And I'm going, okay. I don't know about you, but if we are going to say that, like what Diane and you guys teaching culinary or ProStart, anyone can teach that, and I challenge that. I'm a FCS trained teacher. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to need a whole lot more training to be able to teach the culinary that you are teaching. I've told you that is not my specialty. And so, and interior design, I had to bring in special people when I had to teach interior design for 1 year. That is not my specialty. And even my interior design professor said that. But I guess what I'm saying is, if we don't kind of give them some ideas of, you've got to include the FCS on this, then it's going to go away. And it may go under, instead, we're just going to do culinary, and that's hospitality and tourism, but we don't do all the other stuff like with FCCLA that we do. I mean, that's where it is. I mean, because in basics with this career clusters that you see right here on the screen, we're in human services, we're in hospitality and tourism, we're in education and training, we're in arts and AV, technology and communications, that's where fashion design is, and we're in architecture and construction, which is interior design. But they really don't have those careers listed in them, because they say, and that's what's, I mean, if you look at, where was it? Where was that? Programs of study. Was that it, Jessica, that Kelly brought up?
Scroll down.
Uh-huh.
And then, okay, right here where the word here, download a full list of career clusters,
right here.
and career pathways here.
Thank you.
It's kind of frustrating because, and I know, I mean, I've been doing this is my 16th year. And when I first started teaching family and consumer sciences, the school I taught at, we still had interior design. We had independent living. We had hospitality and tourism that was just barely starting. And it's just sad and unfortunate that over the years, I don't know who's the one that made these decisions, but where it just started being where I remember they were like, if you don't have a certification, you don't have a class. Like if your class doesn't have a certification, doesn't make the cut. And so that's when interior design went away. Independent living went away. Eventually fashion started fading out. And it's just really unfortunate because now we find ourselves in a situation in society where everybody wants adulting classes put back in. How to adult. These are family consumer science classes that were cut from us because we didn't have a certification. Yet these kids, put them in these career clusters, but they don't know how to be a good human being, an independent human being. And it's frustrating.
So one of the questions I noticed later on, as we go through this questionnaire or whatever survey, the AAFCS did talk about having to teach not only our intellectual, but also our emotional and social education. And that's where we are, but if you'll notice on this list they have, which they say is the general, which this doesn't even cover half the careers. I'm sorry. You cannot put all the careers on one page. There's no way. But if you'll notice, none of them have what we're teaching. And that was not brought up. Kelly Coffin brought that up when we were talking to her, is that in architecture and construction, there's there's design and pre-construction, but there's no interior design with that. You know, in arts and AV, you do not have any fashion whatsoever. And guys, we got to have clothes. I mean, I'm just going, okay, hospitality and tourism, they have the recreation and the restaurants and everything. But to me, it's like, okay, but where'd you get this? This is from Family and Consumer Sciences. And you're constantly having to, saying that we're not, that, constantly having to say that, you know, we're from FCS. Okay, so Glenda, I didn't know about the FCS going away, so you're gonna have to enlighten us on that.
I thought that's what you had just said when I walked in, but I walked in the middle of a sentence there. So that's what I was asking for, with clarity on it.
Oh, no. The FCS title, as far as I know, is not going away right now. What they're saying, though, is that here, if we don't get involved with the career clusters, then there's no need for them to fund a FCS, and that FCS may be overall going away and being funded elsewhere, because what their argument now is that since we're so broad in everything, that we don't have to be specialized in an area for someone to teach our classes, which I guarantee you, if you ask our teachers online right now, they would go, yeah, you need special training to be able to teach the culinary classes. Or, you know, I know that I need some training to teach. You've got to have some training to teach fashion design. It just doesn't happen. And interior design, and that's what I was saying, is interior design. That's what I was saying. I did not know the title. They said the title's not going away. It's just that the programs right now, we're having to fight for funding and stuff, and that we are available because we're not involved in this. And that's why I wanted to really work on, I did that wrong. I wanted to really work on tonight, trying to get our answers for this so we can all contribute to this survey that's going out and that's due tomorrow. And they didn't give us very much time on that as well. So if I could get a document out, I can send that out tonight, and then everyone could kind of chip in, and if they had some ideas, they can do it. They don't have to do it exactly like what we say, but I don't feel like I have the complete expertise to be able to do this with everyone. Does that make sense? And be able to represent everyone on board.
One of the problems, Donna, and I don't know if you can hear me, but one of the problems that I have seen with and I'm sorry if I step on anybody's toes by saying this, but when we have hired people out of the industry and they did not have a family and consumer science curriculum or background, I'm sorry, educational background. They were strictly industry, and it was culinary or hospitality, or coming in out of the lodging industry. They came into our older programs where they were still offering fashion designing, interior designing, child development, leadership courses for FCCLA, and those had to go away because they did not have a background and they were not comfortable in that area. So you're talking about you would need training in hospitality. Well, we need to provide training also for those teachers coming in, so we don't lose those programs, and they have been lost, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Kelly was saying, is that one of the things is we need to make sure people are certified in the areas that they're teaching. That it's not just come in, teach, whatever. And I don't have a problem with people coming in from the industries, because they come in with expertise in that one area. But it's harder in high schools when you have multitude of, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was an FCS teacher, I had anywhere from 3 to 5 preps, and I had to be able to teach in those preps. And so when you're having someone come in that may not have that and not a big school, then that's where the problem comes. I don't know if that's going to solve in this framework, but that's where we need to start. I mean, that's what our purpose tonight is, for the framework. I don't know if that's going to be solved from that, but I do know that if we're looking at 3 core elements that we want to include and why, I mean, think about your career clusters. What is the 3 core elements that you'd like to have that would include all of it? And if you need me to go back to FCS, I can, but.
So do we need to somehow, so I guess, are they saying we can't be broad? We can't, on that list you had earlier, I mean, FACS is education and training and hospitality and tourism and arts, and it's all those things. And you can't just put like family consumer science on its own, because it's like it's almost, okay, I'm going to use the hospitality umbrella, for example. So you have the hospitality umbrella, right? But then you have different segments of that umbrella. So you've got lodging, food service, recreation, travel, and tourism. It's like FACS is the umbrella, and then we have education and training, hospitality and tourism, fashion and arts, and technology. I don't know how we can like word. I'm just trying to think how we can word, because we all value the importance of family consumer sciences, and that title and that word and that phrase and that degree, for goodness sakes, that certification that's so important, to try to put it into its own, not its own cluster, but without spreading it out. I don't know how to not spread it out.
Okay, so here's the deal. I want you to look at what the career clusters on my screen, and I want you to just completely erase it and start off from scratch. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at taking away these, completely starting off from scratch. And so they're asking, so what's the 3 main cores? That's what these questions are for, so that we can form a brand new thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I was going to ask, can I share something with you? I have a document, and I guess I don't, because I was having trouble kind of right now, like thinking about like how can we form it into 3 core elements. I want to share this document with you real quick, and I can also email it to you.
Okay, no. Here, I'll give you sharing privileges. Or Gail, can you give her sharing privileges?
Thank you.
And then I'll stop my share.
Because I'm looking at this, and then it kind of maybe, I don't know if maybe it might help. I don't know if this is what they're referring to. So let me show it to you. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have this document that I share with my CTE students. And so like, when I see this, I guess that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we have education and human services. And then I'm just gonna kind of scroll down. If you want me to go back, let me know. And then we have hospitality and food production. And then we have visual arts and design. Is that what they're looking at?
For the 3, I think what they're doing is thinking more of a general. If you had to have, for instance, like when FCS did their thing, and I'm sorry guys, I wish I was better at this. I'm not good at this. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around it. But they were like saying, value all the careers as essential and valuable. Preparation for careers in the future. Career ready practices should be embedded in all the students' personalized career plans. And I'm sitting here going, okay, well, those are 3 elements and that's what they're asking for is, and that question is, what's the 3 core elements that you include and why?
Okay.
Does that make sense? And it's more of how can those 3 core elements be covering all the careers basically. if they're going to restructure a career cluster, how do we get those? What 3 elements do we need to be able to restructure everything? And so I'm just like, okay, I have to go back. This is kind of like organizing my sewing room. In order to organize my sewing room, I don't know if you ever remember a show on Home or whatever, but it was called Clean Sweep, and they had to take everything out of the room in order to see what they have, and then they start building it back up and get rid of stuff and all that. That to me is what they're trying to do. We're going to clear everything out of the room. We're going to go and try to recreate a brand new career clusters that covers all the careers, everything about careers that our kids need to know. So if you were to say 3 important things of that, what those 3 things are, what would they be? In our opinions, and realize that they are going to get a lot of opinions here, and what will they do with that? Does that make sense? So, yeah, Carly stated value the student and society, develop ability to identify problems, thinking outside the box, skills, operations, dispositions, learners construct meaning and develop applications related to, well, we can say that, you know, they have to incorporate, I don't know, how do we say that then?
So these 3 core are not necessarily like family consumer sciences 3 core. It's like if we were to get rid of those clusters, like you said, what would the 3 main ones be? If you could just kind of put them into only 3 chunks, three umbrellas, if you will. That's what so we're not just, it's in like, so in here we would also include like media and stuff like that. It's not
right. And
okay.
And the 3 core elements would be general elements, not specific elements, from what I'm understanding. That it would be like your foundation for your whole career, the new career cluster. Does that make sense?
Yes. So kind of like workplace readiness, or like something like that. That's definitely a core.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. The work readiness, career readiness.
Career, that's definite. Better. Like career readiness, yeah.
Donna, did you look at the National Family and Consumer Science Standards? You know, there's a list of 16 of them, and I'm sure all these teachers are familiar with them, but maybe that's a good place to start, and that's how wide our curriculum is, how broad it is, and maybe looking at each one of those, brainstorm what possible careers for the future or currently exist right now, and place them into each one of those standards that have already been provided for us. Maybe that would help creating this 3 core element.
Okay, you know where that's located at?
It's under NA. Hold on one second.
I wrote it. You can pull it up, and if you pull it up, then we can share it off your screen. Because I did what I did is the AAFCS responses to it. That's what I looked at. Oh wait, Jessica's got it. Every time I do that, though, Jessica, I don't know what's. Every time I click on, like the last meeting I was clicking on this, it comes to System 32 Framework for FCCLA, and it goes to my file, so I'm not able to pull it up.
I can email it as well.
Well, no, you just shared the screen. I'm not even sharing right now.
You want me to share the screen again?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Let me open that up. Here you go.
Donna is not in charge here. Donna is just kind of monitoring. And so I was just trying to get something down. So career readiness skills incorporated, how do we, into the outline of the careers?
I think they worded it really well in their their explanation of what family and consumer science is, and instead of reinventing the wheel, maybe use that as our foundation, because I really believe that we are a foundational program that are building values. And I think we're administrators and perhaps all these other people that are not in the classroom or haven't been in the classroom for a very long time, forget what it's like to be in the trench. And if we just maybe shed some light or open their eyes a little bit and say, what you've done to family and consumer science is you fragmented us, you completely put the cards in there and said, this is our curriculum, okay, let's divvy it all up. And so we're fragmented, and we have been fragmented for some time right now. And the only thing that I get solidity from are those national standards for family and consumer sciences, because even the state of New Mexico using their career readiness standards were pointless for me. They were totally pointless. And I explained it to my administration, and they allowed me to use the national standards because they made sense. And when I had to do exit interviews or evaluations, I could explain it from that standpoint. I think it would be a lot more helpful for our teachers and for us if we want something to stand on that's firm.
So, okay, I'm just lost on what I need to write.
I know it's going to be very broad, and they're looking for 3 core elements, but
I think one of your cores has got to be career readiness skills, like what Carly was saying, but I don't know how to say that with the national standards, because national standards, I don't know if it is developed for all the different ones. You see what I'm saying?
I just pulled up the national standards for family consumer sciences, and I can copy and paste it into the chat. What it says: integrate multiple life roles and response. Well, that's one, but let's see. There's integrate multiple life roles and responsibilities in family work and community settings. Let's see, that's a comprehensive standard. There's another one that says, oh, this is a good one. Demonstrate transferable knowledge, attitudes, and technical and employability skills in school, community, and workplace settings. Do you want me to put that in the chat?
I just
did. I don't know if we want to take that, but like that, I think to me, the main core, yes, like a career readiness, absolutely. I already thought of a second one. I don't know if we're ready to go there yet, but I was thinking like hands-on and practical applications is another big piece, I think, in terms of just looking at what even from a general sense of all career clusters, I think our goals are, we want to get them career ready. We want to give them practical applications where, like hospitality and tourism, you're doing caterings, you're running a cafe, you're getting that practical application. You're competing, those kind of things. If you're in media, you're doing film, you know what I mean, the practical applications piece. If you're in education, you take the teacher academy or pre-teaching and you actually go out into the classroom and you teach. So those practical applications, I think, is another core in my book of what I would say.
Okay, so let me kind of go this. So we're looking at, and I'm kind of going back to what AAFCS said too. Does that make sense? I'm going back. So what if we said preparation for careers through practical application, including, and this can be reworded, please. I'm just trying to write down what y'all said, including hands-on on I don't know what else to say after that. I'm sorry. I told you, this is why I thought collaboration, because Donna looks at this and goes, oh my gosh, I'm not very good at this. Preparation for careers through practical application, including hands-on experiences. I should have known it was under lead FCS. And Carly put the link in if y'all want to bring that up. It's on the lead FCS website, which I should have known that, but I'm new to the lead. So,
You're
okay. Hands-on experiences. What else?
This web-based portal is a platform to crowdsource old ideas for updating the framework.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think? And then we need a third one. Okay, so the career readiness skills, is that the same as preparation for the careers? Is that?
I think it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I don't know. Well, okay. I don't know. I think of them separate as the practical applications and work-based learning and the hands-on experiences. I feel like those are separate from the career readiness skills, I guess.
Okay.
So maybe just taking out preparation for career. Well, no, because we're still preparing them for the careers, but the key word in your statement is through practical application. So I think it's fine how you worded that.
Did you see what I added to the first one, to career readiness skills incorporated into the curriculum to include soft skills? Because when I'm thinking career readiness, it's just not the practical application, it's all those soft skills. It's the tech, it's the interview skills, it's the resume writing, all of those, what I feel like is our extra stuff we do on top of teaching just our facts courses.
Okay, but those two still seem like it's the same one. I mean, we're still talking about career readiness skills. If I'm talking about a whole career clusters, and that's how we're going to prepare them. My thing is, who all is included in the career clusters? I mean, should we put a statement of, you know, something like, consider careers that not only are now, but allow room for those careers that need to be created? Because I mean, I remember this being said in late 1990s when I was being trained on all the careers, and that is, we're teaching these kids, but for careers, but really and truly, most of their careers will not be even invented yet. And I mean, you think about it, how many careers have been invented the last 5 years that we didn't even know about, that wasn't even possible. I mean, this last year, we've opened up more doors to other careers because of all the Zooming and all the virtual stuff that we've done. So somewhere in that, in those career clusters, we've got to allow time, we've got to allow room for those careers to be formed.
Right. And I don't know about you all, but like right now, for our final for hospitality, I'm having them do career investigation as their final. And I could have really easily just forced them to do a hospitality job for their career. I mean, I could have, but I didn't, because I know that not all of them, a lot of them are freshmen and they're not locked into hospitality yet. They're not locked into anything. I just want them to really get a lot of value out of that project and explore. We had them, because in that project, there's the career assessment. You know, guys know, like you have to do an assessment to figure out your personality traits, your career assessment. And I told them, if you end up with wanting to be a neurosurgeon, then you're going to pursue that for your project. I mean, I know I teach hospitality, but it's my job to help you to see the big picture of what you want to do. So meeting their needs. So yes, like you're saying, careers that haven't even been created yet. And then we also have students that are in our class that we're servicing that are not going to go into our specific career cluster that we teach in, but we still want to prepare them. And so I don't know, I just thought of that when you were saying.
No, I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking too. And I love the way that FCS put it, that value all careers as essential and valuable. I mean, that to me, grow with the development of our society and value all careers regardless of the status that society puts on them. I don't, regardless of gender. I mean, we could do gender biases. That might not be good. Bias or pay scale. Gender bias, training. Because we were talking about one of the careers that really gets me is childcare. And I mean, that's one of the things we can get certified in high school. And that is being a professional child care, that's not it, child development advocate. Yes, child development advocate. It's CDA. But most of our kids won't go for it because they don't pay enough. They can't earn a living on it. So that's something that we need to think about that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. On the core elements, it has to, that's the guidelines, Glenda, is that it has to cover middle school, high school, secondary, post-secondary, and then career. That's why I'm saying these guidelines, the 3 cores that we're talking about, has to be very general to cover everything about it. It's not just FCS, but that covers the entire, it covers employers, it covers middle school, it covers high school. So that's why I'm saying is that we need to prepare some kind of list.
Yeah,
Hey,
go
go
ahead,
ahead, Carly.
Oh, I was just going to say that kind of goes with your third bullet and what you were just saying. And then I think absolutely including middle schools, that, you know, just getting all students exposed to these different clusters early. Middle school is so important for them to learn that. And then I remember when Centennial first started, we were going to have a wheel. It was going to be like a CTE wheel, and the students were going to go for like 4-week segments. They were going to go I would have a class for 4 weeks, and then I'd get a new batch for 4 weeks, and then the media teacher would get my group, and they would rotate to see all the career clusters and then make their decision in terms of what they want to pursue next. But the idea fizzled when they decided to buy some really expensive program and have a teacher that didn't really know how to, they just hired someone random to facilitate this online career assessment program class that they created, and it just kind of fell through the cracks. But I like the idea of, yes, all careers and getting kids exposed to all of them, because I'm sorry, but an 8th grader or a 9th grader, a sophomore, sometimes even juniors and seniors, they don't know what they want to do in life. They really
Do you know
don't.
how many times people change when they get to college?
Right.
They change their major a bunch of times.
I'm going to even say adults. That was the other thing they said, is that these kids are going to have at least 12 different careers by the time they retire.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking, you know, my husband started out and he was in his almost 40s when he changed his career, although it was related. I mean, he went from a computer programmer to a project manager. And I mean, and look at me, I never thought I would be a consultant. And that happened when I was in 50s. I don't think we're looking at just our middle school, high school, college. I think you're looking at the whole adults of workplace of, you're going to have different careers.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to allow that to happen of whatever career clusters that we have. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something that I see, and I may be looking at this all wrong, but I think one of our strengths is that not only do we teach the career readiness, and that's a really important part, but we also teach, there's this big push on all the media and stuff, adulting and all these skills that we've always taught. And I think we need to continue those things to help them develop things that help them cope with life as an adult. And maybe I'm looking at this wrong, but I just see that as a strength that we have.
Maybe something like career readiness and successful adult life and preparation. Well, I mean, FCCLA, skills for life. I mean, it's true. I think we need to put that somewhere in there too, Gail. I like that you mentioned that.
Okay, so what if we combine the 2 bullets into one? Does that make sense? Because I think they're the same. And then we add that last thing. Okay, so Gail, say that again. Y'all said it.
Okay,
this went out of my head.
I kind of wrote down that we help them develop skills to help individuals cope with life as an adult, is what I wrote. That's not written in stone.
To help what? The people?
To help individuals cope with life as an adult.
Okay, go ahead, Carly. I just erased what you said.
Oh no, you're fine. I was like, I think this is what she said. I was like, I'll just type it because I was writing it down and I was like, why am I writing it when I could just type it there too?
Yeah, no, that's why I said all of us should be on here just typing away. And oh, Lydia, let me share with you. You came in a little bit later. I am so sorry. And so that you can share as well. And I would love to hear, you guys just open up and talk on top of this. I mean, I don't care. All right. Develop skills to help individuals cope with life. I would say, I don't want to adulting skills. How do you say, do we put adulting skills?
I just said with life as an adult. I just think of how many times kids have come back with seemingly minor things that they learned in my class that they get somewhere and nobody knew how to do it. Some things as simple as sewing on a button. The boys that went into the military always came back and talked about things like that they learned. Mm-hmm. Well, unless you want to pay somebody big bucks or the cleaners big bucks to sew your buttons back on, you have to know how to do that. But that's just a minute little area.
So let's say that we say one of the core things is you need to outline the skills necessary to help individuals cope with life as to help individuals develop I hate using skills again. Skills needed to cope with life as an adult. Outline maybe the tools. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. Tools. Am I muted? Sorry, I'm like, I'm talking out loud. I thought I was muted, but that's okay.
Oh no, you're fine. I'd rather. I mean, I don't know who all's still with us. Because I have you. Oh, everyone's with us still. Oh,
we're all here.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So we could do that, and like I said, I'll send this out. But this is going to be here's the deal. You will have the link to do it. It was in that s'more I sent out. But and go into it and do that survey. You can cut and paste this. You can change it however you want to. But I think that's pretty good. Anyone else want to add something to number 1?
I think we need to clean up number 1 because of the 2 sentences combined.
Okay.
Career readiness skills. Maybe. Maybe we just say preparation for careers through practical applications, building soft skills, including hands-on experiences. Well, I don't know. Maybe I think we could just take the soft skills buzzword and put it into that other sentence.
Well, instead of people skills, put soft.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I meant my soft skills.
Yeah. Because soft skills includes communication skills, correct?
Yes. Soft skills are those transferable skills that
that's another good
and usually and they've changed it from soft skills now to from transferable to soft skills and employability skills. Those are the two. So but the transferable skills to me are the ones that I can use at any jobs. Those are my communication skills. That's my people, teamwork skills. That's my leadership skills. That's anything that helps me get the job done and do it better.
What about incorporate career readiness into the curriculum? Oh no, maybe we're taking that whole sentence out, right?
Well, I was thinking career readiness skills incorporated into the curriculum for the preparation of careers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. Does that sound right?
I'm just gonna type right here for a second. What about
Y'all can type whatever you want. That's why I gave everyone things. And I, like I've said, I'm just facilitating. That doesn't mean I'm doing it. You just got to remember, everyone's got to remember Carly is a visual learner, so she's got to see it written out.
I am visual learning. I do have to see it. Like if someone's just telling me, I'm like, no, I need to like see it. I need to be one with it. I'm just trying to figure out how to word this sentence.
All right, you keep wording on it. Okay, while she's working on that sentence, is there anything else on this? Can we go on to number 2? I'm just trying to figure out what it actually means, number 2. So FCS put on theirs, CTE, the question is, how might an organizing structure describe the intersection between education and the world of work? And so I guess they're asking, CT is the intersection between education and the world of work by providing equity opportunities for students to develop the knowledge and skills for meaningful employment and personal fulfillment across their career lifetime. Ooh, I like that. Carly, I like that. Incorporate career readiness skills into the curriculum.
It's just because, you know, our other 2 are like prepare, outline. Yeah. Like I was like, I wanted to just put incorporate first.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Fix it. Good.
I just don't want to use career twice either.
For their future endeavors, their future plans, their future. I haven't heard. Lydia, you doing okay? I haven't heard from you tonight.
I feel like I walked in on a party that I shouldn't be walking in on.
Well, I was fixing to say, this is at the, you came in, and I'm sure, and if you have something to ask other than this, I'll pause the recording and you can ask that. Will that work?
Please.
Okay, all right, let me do that then. All right, going back to our little
Donna, I was going to ask you real quick. You know, I don't know when you're recording if it's showing my screen with the framework. I don't know if you want to record the actual Google Doc instead. I can share that as well.
Oh, you know what? That's probably a good idea too. Yeah, share the Google Doc. I'll just let you do that.
Yeah, I have that already here, so I got that here.
Is that your little boy?
Yeah, that's my little one. He's ready for his bath. He's getting a little fussy.
He's like, okay, mama, I got it. Okay, let me just go through the rest of this because I think some of the things that Glenda is putting in there may be covered elsewhere. Because number 2 says, how might an organizing structure describe the intersection between education and the world of work? And I really think CTE is the essential of that. I mean, without CTE, oh, wait, wrong. Sorry, Carly. To me, CTE provides the soft skills, soft and employability skills in an environment that students or individuals I don't know what they said. Environment where individuals can maybe no, that's not what I want to say. I'm sorry. Provides opportunities for individuals to good, Glenda. For individuals provides the vehicles for individuals to incorporate I don't know if that's good or not, guys. Y'all go in there and it provides the vehicle for individuals to incorporate skills and knowledge for success in the workplace. Okay, the rest of it is redesign the framework to be a learner-centric and impactful for a learner's entire career trajectory. And number 1 is how can the National Career Clusters Framework more successfully help learners transition to and through the world of work? And this is where it gets the application that I think you're looking for, Glenda. And number 2 is how might educators and education institutions better support each learner to consider options, embark on, and succeed in the world of work. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, is being able to provide them career exploration. And that's how I'm interpreting that. That may not be right, but that's how I am interpreting it. So to me, the idea challenge B fits more into the education classroom. And then we have idea. God, I cannot speak tonight. Challenge C, help educators advise and support learners along their education and career trajectory. And 1 was when taxonomy components what taxonomy components, that's what they're asking for, would best equip educators, school counselors, and career guidance professionals to support learners in their education and career. And I think that's important too, that taxonomy components. how might a redesigned national career clusters framework facilitate meaningful career exploration and concentration conversations? And I think that's something that we need to put in FCS on that. And how can a modernized national career clusters framework better support state and local educators in organizing, evolving, and communicating about their CTE programs? To me, the idea B and C's are more in our classrooms. And then idea C, challenge D says adapt to the changing needs and competencies and skills needed for careers. One was, what would a new career clusters taxonomy need to look like to better help employers communicate the competencies and skills needed in the future? How might a redesigned national career clusters framework better support learners in developing a deeper understanding of the competencies and skills needed for careers? And how might we build a taxonomy that equally values competency and skill attainment with degrees and credentials? And then idea challenge E is redesign the framework to address systematic inequities. How about we redesign the national career clusters framework to ensure that each learner, regardless of race, gender, social and economic status, or zip code, feels welcomed and aware of and supported by the pursuit of their career choice? And how can the national career clusters framework ensure educators advise and support learners in an equitable manner without bias? And what's the biggest barriers to ensuring equitable access and success in career pathways, and how? And I just, please excuse me for reading not successfully, but, and number 4, how we might build a framework that addresses these barriers. Okay, I know that we all need to get back to our life. I mean, at this moment, we're going an hour and a half, and we probably could go for another 30 minutes, but because we normally go for another 30 minutes. Are there questions specifically that you know of? I mean, I could tell you and say, start writing your answers right now on this. Does that make sense? And go that way. I think B could be what Carly said earlier about exploratory framework for middle school, our feeder programs. Yeah.
Donna, I apologize. I'm going to have to log off now, but what I'm going to do is as soon as I'm done, I'll check back tonight. Okay. And then I'll just keep this document open so I can check back, and then hopefully I can give some input at least for a few of the questions. I don't have much experience, but I can do my best with that.
Well, I think that's the best thing. I think that's what I'm going to suggest is do exactly what Carly's doing right now, is go in there and we start putting in our ideas. Yeah. Because otherwise we're not going to have enough time to do it all. And that way we can do it. And then in the morning I can look at it again and make sure we have everything, and I can send it out to everyone as a guideline. And state it. This is a guideline and a guideline only. I can give this one. I can give the one from AAFCS one more time and say, so pick out what you want to say, and you might have some new ideas. And if you do, then do it. That's the whole point. It's not, we don't have to have one general one. It's just you put in what you think on it, but it just needs to be done by tomorrow. Does that make sense? I mean, what do y'all think?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot. Like, it's a lot. And so,
yes.
But it's also not something that we want to just like rush through and put together real quick because the deadline's tomorrow. Like, we want to put our thoughts into it, because I think that we all are just really, we want to make sure we represent family consumer science as well, since, you know, it's already being viewed that we're not in the cluster. So it's like, this is a way to defend ourselves and stand up and advocate, like you said at the very beginning, advocate for our programs and what we do. And so we need to do it well. But yeah, I just think we do need time So I agree. I think, yeah, we all just kind of work on it in bits and pieces and just kind of put our little blurbs in, and then we can kind of edit and splice it together. I can work on it tonight, and I can also, I don't know, when are you sending this off, Donna? Did you say that tomorrow when you're sending it off?
Yeah, I need to send it off probably by noon at the latest.
So I can
Let
help
me-
in the morning. In the morning, I can kind of do some editing, or I can look at stuff in the morning too.
Okay.
I have been working inside the survey as we've been talking,
Yes, ma'am.
and you can go in and type and go out and go to another area, and it will save what you typed.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it didn't because I was partway through that first one. I wanted to change something, but I could go back in, and it had, you have to put your name and your email and your organization each time. But once you've typed it into the challenge, then it's there and it'll come up. And what I typed the first time was there, and then I could just go back and edit it.
Anna, I think that idea, challenge B, number 2, is where you really want to push or encourage the CTE organizations. I think that's our opportunity to push how FCCLA is that opportunity for our kids to extend their wings and explore in a safe environment.
I agree. So,
I do want to warn you too that the numbers are not going to collate, because all the information, the identifying information that you type is number 1, and then like our question 1 here is going to be 2 and 3, and so you're going to need to pay attention as you're typing in. You can't just
okay.
go the same number. Make sure you read.
Okay. Well, I knew that with the first one. What I did is I downloaded the challenges from the sheet that they included on there and just put those questions, because don't they have, well, I know the first one they ask for your name and where you're from and your email,
And they
correct? Or
ask it
something?
on the second one too. So
Okay.
I think they're going to ask it on each one.
Okay.
I just wanted to interject something for idea C, number 1. I haven't been in the classroom for about 5 years, but one of the problems that I had, and I don't know if these teachers are experiencing that or not anymore, maybe counselors have become more aware of what skills are needed in your classroom. But one of the things there, I often had kids that were placed in the classroom that were totally not going to succeed there. If they had problem children, they thought that, oh, let's put them in a FACS class. That's a good place for them. And I'm not sure how to say this without being offensive, but sometimes counselors would use this as a dumping ground.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that either.
Yeah, I would not word it that way, but and I don't want to offend anybody either.
Yeah,
But
because
from my own personal experience, that's what would happen often.
well, and in my experience, I went to the special needs and I said, dump them in my classroom for that reason, so that they could get some workplace. So maybe it should be.
Well, and a lot of them can be successful in our areas that they can't be successful anywhere else.
And that's absolutely correct. Absolutely. But I still feel like our counseling staff and administration needs to be better educated about what we actually do if they're not aware of it.
Yeah, I have 220 kids that want my class next year, and I will probably have, I don't know how it ends up, but at least a half dozen in every single class that have no interest in being in my class. It's just the way the dominoes fall with scheduling, that I have kids who are miserable in my class. They're like, well, I wanted something else. Well, you're here. Let's have some fun with it. But yeah, there's always kids that end up who don't want to be in my class. And I think it's just an electives issue, because I know automotive even ends up with kids that the kids don't want to be there.
It's all has to do with their schedules.
Well,
Yeah.
and some counselors see CTE classes as interchangeable. So I have a problem and they're in Carly's second period. I'll just move them over to Mary Jo's class. Is a totally different subject. It's like they have no concept that each class is a specialized thing and they aren't interchangeable.
Exactly. That would happen often as well. So in idea C for number 2, it actually asks us, how might a redesigned national career cluster facilitate meaningful career exploration concentration? I think if we had, I don't know, I go back to the national standards for family and consumer science, and if they were all listed, because this is what we teach, we're not losing anything, we want it back, it belongs to us, we're the professionals in this area, give us back our curriculum so we can teach it the way it should be taught. And from there, get it back, it belongs to us. We were the professionals in that area. And if it's listed and it's bulleted as to what each category or each course will involve, maybe we'll get respect. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Maybe we'll get validated and respected again.
I think this is also where FCCLA comes in, because just because I teach culinary arts, when we go to competition, my kids aren't just competing in culinary arts. They're choosing the entrepreneurship project and choosing a completely different business that has nothing to do with culinary arts. They're doing project management because they want to do a fundraiser for a local hospital. I actually had a girl work on it this year for cancer, children with cancer. So we're incorporating this and adding these by being having FCCLA as a co-curricular.
Thank you.
And we need the money for that co-curricular.
Thank you, because that just illustrated you're well-rounded, and that's who we are.
Yeah, that's why as a culinary teacher myself too, I don't compete in ProStar. I choose FCCLA. I've chosen FCCLA from day one. I will always do it because just like you said, you know, we had kids that qualified for nationals and the kids that have competed and they're not even in food related events. And that's what I teach. I mean, I have a hospitality and tourism, but there's interpersonal communications, nutrition and wellness, chapter, community service project. There's just so many. Recycle, redesign. We've had people do all kinds of different projects that are not culinary. We don't always have to have a culinary team. That's what I love about it, is it's more than just the kitchen. Like that's what people think we are. It still irks me to this day when one of our staff members called us future cookers and cleaners of America. I cannot get that out of my head. It burns me. It irks me. But I'm like, we're not just, or like we're a cooking club. And I'm like, we're not a cooking club either. No.
Oh, that one's better than the one a student said. Miss Porter, it's just the future cooking and cleaning ladies of America.
Oh, the ladies. Yeah. No, I want to add something to when you guys were talking about counselors, the better education training administrators and counselors. Guys, I don't know about your schools, but who are registering your students? We have our own teachers doing it. Our counselors aren't doing it. So we need to educate our staff or teachers too, because advisory teachers specifically,